All right, so I'm just going to teach you the basics of InDesign. So I've got it open here. I'm just going to create a new document. I do intend to print this document. So I'm going to make it a print document up here by selecting print. And I'm going to click view all presets because I know I want it A3 size. So that's already in there. So I'll click A3. And I want to change the orientation to landscape instead of portrait. So I'll just click on that. Everything else is good to go. So I'll click create. Now, first thing I would probably do is make sure I've got the right amount of pages. So I can come up here to window and then workspace. And I want to have it on essentials or essentials classic. I prefer this one, so that's a good choice. So just make sure that's the right one that you've got ticked. You should then have your pages tab there. So if I click my pages, I can add a new page by clicking this down here, create new page. So I can make it all 12 pages for my portfolio if I want to. And if I select one particular page, I can just work on that individual page. Or if I want to do something that will apply to the whole document, like for example, maybe apply a background, then I could work on my master pages up here. And that would allow me to create the same changes on every page throughout my document. So it's a really good shortcut. For the purposes of today, I'm just going to work on one page to keep it simple. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is add in a background. So I'll just come in here to, oops, no, not that, to Google. And I'm going to click onto an image that I like the look of. So I've just gone lemons because I'm going to assume that might be the inspiration for the students' work that I'm using as my example today. So copy image, I've got that there. Now I'll come back into InDesign, Command V will paste that image in for me. Control V if you're on a PC. So now this is where things are not intuitive. It is a little bit different. So oops, I didn't mean to do that, so Command Z will undo that. I'm going to just stretch this image to fill the size of my page. Now those purple lines, they are just guidelines to help you while you're working. They won't actually be there when you print, but it's showing you the edge of the print size on the page. So don't worry about them too much. Now you can see when I stretched out the edges of that image, the image stayed the same. It didn't increase in size. And that's normal for InDesign. So what we have to do is right click and we need to go to fitting. We're talking about the fitting of this image. So a couple of different options. I can tell it to fill frame proportionally, which means that it fills up, but it keeps the image in proportion. I'll just Command Z to show you the other options. I can fit the frame to the content, so that would shrink it back down to the original size, or I can fit the content to the frame. And that means it just stretches it out. The other options, could center the content. I can fit the content proportionally as well. So you'll see there's still gaps here on the sides. So the best option for me to use is fill frame proportionally for this one. So that's what I'm going to do. It would be a bit hard to see my writing on there, so I'm going to reduce the opacity. So that's up here where it says 100%. I'm just going to reduce that, and what you'll notice is it starts to fade away a little bit, right down to where you basically can't see it. So I don't want it to be really overbearing, so probably somewhere around about 30–40% might be good for this particular image. So I'm going to keep mine there. I like 48. Now the next thing I want to do is add in some text boxes so that it makes my text a little bit easier to see. So with text, we just come over here to the T, the type tool, and click on that, and then draw in where we want our text box to be. So I might say I want mine for my title to be there. So I'm just going to say design visual design development. That would be section 2 of my portfolio. I'll highlight that and increase the size. So that's over here. Everything's got to be 12 point, except for your headings, they can be bigger. So I'm going to make that a bit bigger. That will make it easier to see. I might like to change the font too, so that's up there. Cool thing, you can see what it will look like. So I might go this one here. I like the look of that. And I'm going to make it bold. So under regular, I'll come in and make it bold. So that's my heading done. And I'm going to create another text box for my text to come in here. This purple line that's appeared, or pink, has appeared as a guide. So it's showing me that's halfway across the page. So that's just a helpful tip. Now, if I started to write my text in here, so this concept design, I'm not going to put too much, but let's say, yep, I want it 12 point. So I'm just going to zoom in so we can see it better. It's not really obvious. So what I'm going to do is change the color of this text box background to make the text a little bit more legible, because that's really important. So I'm going to come over to my selection tool and get out of the type tool. That allows me to then select this text box, and I want to change the color of it. So I'm going to come up here to the fill. Okay, so I want to put a fill on it. So I'm going to click this little arrow, and for the sake of right now, I might just make it white. I'm just going to click paper. Already that's a bit of an improvement. And I think yellow or green would probably work well given the color of my background. So I might pick green. But that green doesn't really match this green. So what I'm going to do is just double click on that green. And then I can actually play around and move the greens to get the exact kind of color that I want. And it's a really dark green. So maybe something like that would be better. I'll click the preview so I can see how it looks. I think that's looking better already. Try and make it close to the green that's already in there. So I might say okay, but I'm still not really happy with it. I actually want it this color green. So my other option is to come over here and get my eyedropper tool. So this color theme tool is really cool because it will suggest to me all of the colors that suit my theme. So if I click that and then I click anywhere in here in my image, and I know I want a greeny color, it's automatically suggesting all the colors that would work for this color scheme. So I have to click this plus, and that will add the color scheme for me to be able to access. Now, if I come up here to the color, if I scroll a little bit further down, I'm going to have my color theme added in there. I click the arrow and those colors are there. So that's the exact green, that's a yellow, and that's a beige. So I think the green's a bit too dark. It's not really legible. So I might go for this nice yellow here. So that's now my fill color. Everything else to format the text is probably similar to what you use in Microsoft Word. So I can center it if I want to, or change the alignment. I think everything else, change the color of the text in here. Again, that's the same. I'm going to keep it black because I think that would be easiest to read. But I might change the font as well, and make it something a bit more similar to what I'm already working with. So I'll just select one of them. Okay, so already that's an improvement. Now I want to add in my concept designs as well. It would get lost amongst this busy pattern if I put it straight on without some kind of backing there. So I might just copy Command C, having selected this text box, and paste one on the other side of the page here. This is just a shortcut way to do it. So I'm going to make that one a bit smaller. I'll zoom out a bit so you can see better. I'm going to get rid of the text that's in there. And I'm going to go back to my selection tool. I'm going to make this a bit bigger so it takes up more of the page. And import my image from Photoshop. So I'll leave it at this for now for this video, and then I'll continue on in a separate recording for how I then do that.